I was listening to a Romanian politician today, and he was talking about Romania's economy, and he was like, "Oh, it's just like in the movie Don't Look Up. Bad things are happening, the environment, ecosystems are collapsing, and no one is doing anything. It's like just like in Don't Look Up." Yeah, I saw Don't Look Up. You know what they failed to talk about? How the way to stop the comet was to pay more taxes to the government, and at the same time, the government restricting your liberties. And the comet would have gone away if they did that. That's something that they didn't address in the movie. But I just want to look at a previous film, which is very popular, and there's also a book written by it. It's called Soylent Green. And the reason this movie is very interesting is due to the fact that it covers the similar topic, like Don't Look Up, which is the destruction of the environment. And it's actually about the current year. And as you can see here on the cover, it says the year is 2022. People are still the same. They'll do anything to get what they need, and they need Soylent Green. So it shows riot control, and the problem is that the population is so huge. There's just so many people that the riot control is just a bulldozer and is pulling people away because there's just way too many people. It's so overcrowded. So let's look a little bit at the plot. And take into account that this book was written in 1973. And back then, they also had this fear porn that the world is ending. And of course, the only solution to prevent the world from ending is to pay more taxes to the government and have the government restrict your liberties. And just like in Don't Look Up, the movie made a couple of predictions about how the world is going to be like in the future. By the year 2022, the cumulative effect of overpopulation, pollution, and an apparent climate catastrophe have caused severe worldwide shortages of food, water, and housing. Wow, that is definitely like it is in today's world, right? The population of New York City is 40 million people. I think it's about 8 million today. But you know, this is why they make predictions over decades, so that you can't fact check them. And this is why it's interesting to go back in time and read papers from the past and watch movies from the past, just to see how right or how wrong they are. But for some reason, you know, like when they make the predictions for today, they're more legit, aren't they? Because you lived through them. But if you were in 1973, why wouldn't you believe that by 2022, New York City is going to have a population of 40 million people? Why wouldn't you believe that overpopulation and pollution is going to destroy the planet by 2022? Why wouldn't you believe it? We look back and it's like, oh, how silly people were. Or maybe it's like, oh, no, they got it right. It's just it wasn't by 2022. It's going to be by 2040. And they got it wrong by 20 years or so, huh? So anyway, apparently only the elites can afford to live in New York City. Clean water and natural food. And you also have horrendously high prices. I guess they got this correctly, but it's not because of the free market. It's because of inflation, and it's because of the government taxing things, and it's more because of that. But, you know, like at least credit is where credit is due. Every now and then they get something right. The homes of the elites are fortresses with private security, bodyguards in their tenants. I mean, this is not far from the truth. The elites usually complain about the border. It's like, oh my god, the border wall is racist. Oh, it's all racist. And they live in compounds with big walls. Just look at how all the progressive elites live in. You know, like look at how Zuckerberg likes to surround his compound with a massive fuck you wall. It's not racist when he does it, right? I'm just a little bit upset, as you can see. The hypocrisy is what annoys me. It's not the politics in itself. Like, if you're an open borders type of person, by all means, but live the open border dream. Don't surround your compound with a wall, because not everyone can afford to do that. But anyway, so apparently the concubines are referred to as furniture and serve as tenants, as slaves. So the future is very misogynistic. Women are made into furniture. There's no food, there's no water, there's no housing, there's overpopulation. Again, this is a famous book which then ended up being a movie. And it was written in 1973. At the time, people were clapping at this. As the people were watching Soylent Green, they were making soy faces, saying, oh my god, this is actually what the future is going to be like. Just fear porn. Just doom and gloom. The Soylent Green Corporation produces the communal food supply, and they're making this homogeneous brand called Soylent Green and Soylent Yellow. And their latest product is Soylent Green, a more nutritious variant, which is advertised that it's made from ocean plankton but is in short supply. And as a result of the weekly supply chain and distribution bottlenecks, the hungry masses regularly riot when supply runs out and are brutally removed from the streets by means of scoops, police, crowd control vehicles that literally scoops the rioters from the streets with large hydraulic shovels. So capitalism evil. Capitalism is going to end up with creating this corporation that pushes Soylent Green, which is just a big slop because there's no more competition, there's no more innovation. It's just a depressing future. Now, it's just one movie, and I just wanted to show you guys how people in the past used to think about the present. And hopefully some of you who are also into doom and gloom will think, why is it different that we also look towards the future and we see the same fear porn and fear mongering and whatnot? Just stop it, okay? Like, just please stop it. And don't talk about Don't Look Up. I really, really dislike that movie. Not because of the movie itself, mind you, the story or anything like that. No. It's when I hear people making comparisons with the Don't Look Up. And I've seen it in the media a couple of times. It's like, oh, this is just like Don't Look Up. I hear it with politicians. And it's probably very similar to how things were in the 1970s, when people would be like, oh, it's just like Soylent Green. Oh, you're going to end up with Soylent Green if we keep on this path. And by the way, Soylent Green is actually a really good movie. And it's a great book. But it's fictional, right? And that's what people should remember about Don't Look Up as well. It's fictional. It's not real. Never happened. We made it up. It was created by a writer. You know, it's kind of funny though. I think there's a big chunk of the population that just lives through movies and fiction. A good example is the people that watch Handmaid's Tale and then make comparison. Oh my god, it's just like Handmaid's Tale. It's just like that. I think it's because they don't study history. Like, they don't know real events. They don't go out into the world. They don't open a history book. So the only point of reference that they have is fiction. Which is why progressives really freak out when someone makes an anime like Attack on Titan. Because it's like they know that that target of the population that just inspires itself from fiction might look at Attack on Titan and might conclude, wow, history is actually filled with shades of gray. There aren't good guys and bad guys. It's just shades of gray. But it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.